I don't know. That's all I got.
Detrick.
There we go.
Detrick. Brian Detrick. It's just like, how did people used to mispronounce Badal? Badal. Which
They
is
would
it?
say Badal, but
But his
it's
brother's
Badell.
name is, okay, what's his brother's last name?
Badal, I believe.
What's Greg's last name?
Badell.
How can these two guys have the same last name and say it different?
That's a great question.
You know, these are the things that keep me up at night at the Ball Spray headquarters. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's start this over again. So we're getting ready to start the Open Women's Slalom event. I have Mr. Brian Detrick. Brian, you had one really good round this weekend, and that first round, it's slalom. It happens. That was not so great. Tell us about the good round.
Yeah, the second round felt good. You know, I felt dialed. Felt needed a little redemption. I knew it was a long shot to make it into the finals with the cumulative score that was needed, and you know, ran 2 at 41. Felt good out there, but you know, like I said, early fallout in the first round. So here on shore today.
All right, from France, actually skiing now in the Orlando area. Amber Frank coming in at 28 off, riding that HOV type.
Slalom.
So I'm here with Brian Detrick. I've changed microphones. So if any of you just heard half of a conversation, you know what the heck was going on. I apologize. My mic went down. I didn't know it. So should we tell all those jokes again? Probably not.
No, I don't think it'd be good the second time.
Okay, it really wasn't very good the first time. All right, so this is Amber Frank. She just ran her 28 off. She is paired up against Whitney McClintock. You know, as we've seen today, upsets do happen. I think we have no choice but to cheer for Amber because she is the underdog. She's the younger skier. She's the less accomplished skier. What do you think of her opening pass there?
It looks smooth. You know, Amber's been consistent with the last few weekends and running, you know, mid to deep 38, but she's got her work cut out here going against Whitney. Whitney looked really strong yesterday, running 39 both rounds.
And again, you know, Whitney is past world slalom champion, past world, I believe, overall champion, really one of the best female skiers in the world. So, you know, this is a tough matchup for Amber. On either. Okay, this is we're testing microphones. I apologize again for the folks at home if you can't hear me. Yeah, minor technical difficulties. There's a little bit of if it sounds like we're confused, then you know that we're a little bit confused. Okay, we're good. So I'm sorry. I don't know what the folks at home have heard. You probably listened to Brian. Sounds like he's talking to nobody. I'm pretty sure Brian talked to him. Do you talk to yourself while you ski?
Sometimes.
Do you ever like hear music playing in your head when you're in the middle of slalom pass?
Definitely not. No music.
No?
No music.
No? All right, so Amber Frank coming back here just a moment. 32 off. Again, young woman of French. She has a French passport, but her English is awfully good, and she's going to school at Florida Southern there just outside of Orlando, Florida. 32 feet off that 75-foot toe line, riding that HOV type. Brian, what do you make of that pass?
Another good warm-up pass for Amber. You know, she's looking real balanced on her ski. You can see it 2-4. She gets a really big counter rotation. So we see the replay here. You know, just on the back there, a little at 1. But, you know, she knows where she's at in the course, able to keep a tight line in the second half, and just really waking up, getting the feel this morning.
Now, I was talking to Trent about Not about that's exactly. We're kind of talking about body movement of the ball, and I look at all that counter rotation that Amber has there on the 2-4, and I think a number of years ago everybody thought that was the best thing possible. Do you think that that's maybe kind of played its course in slalom theory, and maybe less counter is actually becoming more the preferred technique, less movement?
I'd agree. It's more keeping everything going outbound, and some people feel that they need to counter rotate in order to get everything to go outbound, where if people are doing it correct by keeping the outbound direction with attention to the line, they don't need as much body movement.
But you should really do that with your hips at the center line, shouldn't you?
That's right.
All right, so Whitney McClintock coming in for her third pass. I believe this is a 35 off. Whitney, of course, is not only a member of the Canadian World Water Ski Team, but also a member of Team Radar. Eddie, Sully, all you guys out there at Square One, if you're watching this morning, good morning to you up there in Seattle.
And also Team Nautique skier, so she's right at home with these Nautique 200s.
That 6-liter Ski Nautique 200 is probably just like she has back at her ski site down there in Orlando. I think she skis with Mr. Matt Reaney in Orlando. Matt's got a bit of a ski school, pretty successful business, and pretty outstanding, not just slalom coach, but 3-event coach.
That's right. They produce a lot of 3-eventers through that ski school and in Canada in general.
Isn't that weird? The ski companies are in Seattle. It's cold and rainy. And, well, you know, the Canadians, I understand it, because if they show any promise, they just come to go to Florida, which is why I think the World Championship should just really, did I say this earlier? I think I did. World Championship should just be like the Florida State titles and call it done. All right. Amber Frank from France, from Orlando, 35 off. Not a bad pass. So Brian, it seems like she flows 2.46 really well, but you think she's maybe just a touch hitchy on 1.3 on her offside?
Yeah, it's just a tad. She's just a little bit on the back, and I think talking about the counter rotation that we were talking about just a little bit ago, I think you see Whitney's hips are a little more open, and the ski releases a lot earlier off the second wake, where Amber's a little more closed off with the hips, and in order to get the ski to release, that's why she needs more upper body movement and needs to do the counter rotation in order to get the ski to move out underneath her.
Right, but I mean, it almost looks like she's bringing her back shoulder back instead of her front shoulder forward, and you move her center. She's really taking ski out of the water, and it's not, the ski itself is not able to work as efficiently. Is that are you with me on that, or am I making up stuff?
No, yeah, a little bit. Everybody's got their own style, and have to adapt to the ski that you're on.
Oh boy, do you have style. All right, 38 off, Whitney McClintock. I don't know pound for pound who would be the strongest woman in professional skiing, but if it's not Whitney, she's right there. If there was a podium of pound for pound strength in women's pro skiing, Whitney McClintock is on that podium.
Yeah, definitely. Her, Regina, Manon.
Right.
And ironic or not, those are, three that are definitely at the top at a lot of the events.
Absolutely.
But, especially on that onside, that 135 for Whitney, we've all seen her hold on to some incredible load and slack and still manage to run the pass.
Yeah, it kind of goes to, I kind of get stuck talking about technical skiing and ideal skiing, and I mean, Whitney is one of the best skiers in the world, but when she gets down to it, when she gets to her stress passes to 39, it's not always the prettiest thing in the world, but her determination and talent and strength just makes it happen.
That's right. Whitney's got a lot of heart and always lays everything on the line.
Oh, Amber, come on, girl. Hang on. You're in trouble. All right, so it looks like Whitney's going to move on. What?
Mason. You have the choice if you want to run this morning, or move on to the next round.
All right, folks. So we're gonna. So Whitney obviously is gonna move on, and we're gonna move on to Regina Jaquez and hometown girl Michaela Ha. So it looks like Regina is sending Michaela out first. Local girl Michaela Ha, also radar team skier. We're getting a little bit of a faux. What do you call that kind of dancing? That's like it's not. We're gonna let that go. So our local site announcer was helping us out there a little bit, showing a little leg. Folks at home are like, "What is Horton talking about?"
Yeah, we had a little water bottle float into the water that someone needed to pull up the shorts just a bit to grab it in order to stay dry.
All right, so again, I fully expect Michaela to go out first, which means that Regina has to not just equal but exceed Michaela's score. And again, Regina Jaquez, world record holder, maybe the most decorated female skier in the last 10 years. I don't have the stats in front of me. Actually, it's either her or Whitney. I don't know, right? I mean, but both of them 3-event skiers, both of them, the fiercest darn competitors. So looks like Regina's getting a little ride down the lake. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but we're gonna wave at her here when she goes by.
I'm wondering. Regina usually starts at 32 off. Michaela 28. That's the minimum for this round. So she could be taking a bye into this first pass and having Michaela go really second as she's going first right now and electing to go 32 off.
So it's interesting. I mean, Michaela was running 38 in practice, right? So I hate to give credit to any of the ballers out in Ballerland, but my buddy Ward McLean once said to me, 28 and 38 have nothing in common. Why are you going off the dock at 28? And I'm not really sure why I listened to Ward, but it took me like half a season to get comfortable going off the dock at 32 off, and then it became, went from shocking to routine. What do you think? Do you think there's value in running those extra longer lines, or do you think that they're just so different from those shorter lines that it's a distraction?
I definitely see where he's coming from with, having the same rhythm. I think that would be the best positive side of going out 32. But then on the other side, I feel you still need a warm-up.
Right.
If you don't feel comfortable, you want to go out there, first couple passes, really, get the feel, get balanced on your ski, and have the driver get familiar with your skiing. If you kind of go out there and you're not smooth from the start, you never get into a sync and rhythm.
Yeah, that doesn't help me because I surprise the driver at every buoy.
Well, it's always a work in progress. All of our skiing is a work in progress.
We're a work in progress. All right. So, lovely young woman from right here at Belle Aqua, Michaela Ha, riding that 2016 Radar Vapor. How old is Michaela?
Michaela is 21.
21.
And I know I was talking to her within the last week about the new ski, and she loves the ski, is what she said. So, she had a great first round yesterday. She was happy with it, 5 at 38. She'd always like to finish that. But
five is such a painful score. 5. Oh, 5. That means she had it. She did. She was running it.
We've had those conversations a lot.
I know.
Is 5 better than
No,
a half
no.
or 5.5?
No. If you fall around one ball, you had a bad gate, it's fine, you messed up. But if you get 5, that means you had it and you let it go. That's the worst score possible. We call that a RICO. Do you know my friend Eric Francois?
No.
Well, his nickname is Rico, and for years, he would just be about to run 38. He turned 4, he'd be in it, get around 5, and that was it. And he did 5:38, 5:38, 5:38. So now 5 at any pass is known as a Rico.
A Rico.
Eric, if you're out there, man, looking forward to you moving back to California and teaching me how to ski. Teach me how to get 5 over and over again. 32 off, Michaela Ha. So, Brian, does she have a little bit of a weird rope tension thing going on? It looks like she's actually pushing the handle to the boat and releasing that tension maybe 15 feet off the second wake.
Yeah, she gets a lot of angle out of the buoy, and so she gets a nice early edge change, and then, she comes off the handle early, but she's already generated enough outbound direction that still gets her to get that width. But she does, kind of release it to the inside, and, you see it go loose just a tad, but, by the time she gets to the finish, most of the time she has a tight line.
But so would you, if you were coaching her, would you sooner or later get around to changing that?
Yeah, I'd like to see her, stay on the handle just a little longer. She's able to do it at these longer line lengths, but then as the rope gets shorter, I think that could be a little hindering to her skiing.
I think about April Coble, who I consider to be one of the best 34-mile-an-hour skiers in the world, and her handle release is so insanely slow. All right, Regina, 32 off. Regina is rocking those gloves that everybody is running this year, these Miami Ski Nautique gloves. What is the deal? Everybody loves those things.
Yeah, I haven't tried them myself, but everybody's wearing them. I know the onshore announcers were commenting on how Chad was wearing them. He's matching the boat, and Regina's ended up with that same boat too.
So maybe it is just fashion.
Yeah, fashion look. Look good, ski good, right?
I guess. Well, and again, I keep trying to explain to Will Asher to stop worrying about ball count. He just needs a bigger spray. His 2.4 spray is spectacular, but on 1.3, I think he could put more water in the air.
Oh yeah, definitely. His sprays aren't symmetrical.
Right
yeah.
now. And if he could learn to tumble through the wakes the way you do, I love you, Brian.
Yeah, I don't know why more people aren't doing that.
Well, you've got Jaeger.
Yeah, Jaeger's keeping up with me on that spectrum.
All right, so the folks at home have no idea what that joke is all about, so let's just keep moving. Michaela Ha, 35 off. Should be a pretty routine pass. I mean, there's some difficulty here, but, Brian, again, I want to talk about that handle release. I really don't see how that doesn't cost her not just control speed and width, but a little bit of stability, right? She's suddenly loose there.
Yeah, that's something, thinking back of growing up watching her ski is a little something that she's had, even when she was being very successful in the junior ranks of, she's gets out there and, lets that arm go to the inside and, has that loose line. It's not tight. Like you say,
right.
April keeps a really tight line at all times.
And, Karina isn't here, but I think about Karina's having that amazing handle control where it seems like the handle kind of comes forward and down and forward as she approaches the ball, and you see Nicole Arthur doing that kind of thing, and I think Brienne does that a little bit too.
Yeah, I think Karina has, one of the best handle controls,
right.
Of any skier. And, I would, growing up, it was her. You had Jamie Beauchesne as well as, probably the best handle control out there.
Right. Very, and both of them very, not just good, but distinctive. So, Regina, just so natural. And, I think a lot of people have noticed she's been at the top of women's slalom for a number of years, but I think maybe 2014, 2013, her skiing became prettier, right? It became more technically conventional, and now I look at her and I say, there's a skier that people are going to watch and want to emulate, whereas previously they saw her scores and went, oh my gosh, those scores are huge, but it was a little bit unconventional.
Yeah, a little unconventional, more scrappy.
Scrappy, it's a good word for it.
She, like you said, she's got a little more technical, which I think's really helped her consistency of running 39 very often, pretty much automatic, and but just like Whitney, when it gets ugly, she can still fight.
Absolutely. I was talking earlier, talking to Trent about how some skiers, nobody likes this badge, but I define some skiers as being a little bit fragile out there. They might be world class, but things go bad. They don't have a lot of margin of error. Maybe Regina is the least fragile woman pro skier. All right, Michaela, come on, girl, get it done. I'm not going to say the words. All right, she got it. You see that? I like the whole ski out of the water from. So, folks, if we get the replay on this, when she turned 6, she kind of flicks the whole ski out of the water. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely huge fist. To be in the finals, going against
the best
Regina,
right.
arguably one of the best in the world, and to be on home court basically, and to finish 38 off. Michaela's stoked about that.
She's come a long ways. That is fantastic. And here's the little jump. Could have been bigger. Could have flicked it out there a little bit. You ever do that?
Sometimes.
By accident?
It's not intentional. You got a little more speed because you maybe pull a little long to 6 to make sure you get there and kind of do a little more snappy turn since you don't have to fully turn it.
My wife took a picture of me a couple years ago at a tournament, and I had no idea I was doing it. I was coming out of 6 and flicking the tail of the ski way out of the water. I looked at the picture and went, what is that?
Yeah, my mom actually commented to my dad yesterday the same thing, and my dad's like, he always does that once in a while.
All right, 38 off, Regina Jaquist. Just powerhouse. One of the 2 of the very best women skiers on earth today. Crushing it out there on her good, I don't know, maybe it's a Nano FT, Nano 1 XTW TTN 5000. Dave got to be over. He's not watching, but somebody will call and he'll be over. He'll go over and correct us anytime now.
Well, I know the webcast caught that tail end of Regina dropping down there. The lady's having fun. She threw a little wall of spray in the vicinity of Michaela.
For the folks that don't know Regina, like many of these athletes, really unassuming, just incredibly nice. We often comment she's a full-time pharmacist. She owns her own pharmacy down there in North Florida, and is extremely sharp young woman. I was telling her about a muscular issue I had a couple years ago, and she's like, "Oh, just go to the health food store and get this stuff." And she was like spot on. Totally knows her stuff. All right, Michaela, 39 off. Tell us about it, Brian.
All right, she's going to need a good gate. This end's been a little more difficult. And just that loose line that you've been talking about there, still a great performance for Michaela, having, best round she had this weekend.
Right.
And, I think she's got a PB of 2.5, maybe 3 at 39. So to run that in the finals against, Regina is definitely hats off to her.
It's fantastic. I'm, as a fellow Californian, I'm extremely proud of her right now. Now, Regina, one would assume that Regina's just going to come in and crush it, right? She's going to come in and maybe she'll run it, or maybe she'll just get 2 and save some muscle. Although Regina's so strong, I'm not sure it matters.
Yeah, we saw Matt Brown winning the big dogs, stood up, do what he needed. Definitely awesome, especially, with the health issues that he's had.
Right.
And I don't know if you know, he wasn't signed up for this event.
I talked to him like a week ago, and he's like,
yeah, Seth Stisher called him, wasn't able to make it anymore, said, hey, I'm trying to find someone to take my spot. And, he shows up and takes the W.
Yeah.
But
hey, Stisher, if you're out there, we love you, man.
But
I mean, mostly.
Definitely Regina, not one to stand up. imagine she's going to go right down this pass.
Oh, hey, kind of a big one ball. Oh, she's going for it. Okay. So, Brian, did she get out of that, or did she actually miss that pass? I mean, do you think she safetied it, or?
She had a big one.
Really big one.
We saw that tail slide, and so not the start that she wanted. And you got to be smart in the head-to-head. There's hopefully for her she's gonna have 2 more rounds of skiing. So
before she meets Whitney. Sorry to say.
we
could get an upset. I'm hoping. I cannot count out some of these women. I mean, Karen Truelove, you cannot count her out.
Yeah, can't count her out. Manon, she ran 4:39 yesterday. She was her, Whitney and Regina were the only ones to run 38 both rounds.
Right.
And so, definitely not guaranteed, but what we've seen over the last 4 years or so, it's been a Whitney Regina final.
Right.
And a lot.
Right. Well, and I was telling Trent before you sat down that, the pairing that I'm going to be most excited to watch is the Minot-Brianne pairing. They're evenly matched. They're both conventional technical skiers, I think. They're both the kind of skiers that when the readers a ball of spray, hey ballers, when the readers of my website would ask me, who should we watch as skiers, I often send them to people like Chris Parrish to say, okay, watch Parrish, see the lack of extra movement, the efficiency. But for the average guy skier to look at these 2 women and see how little strength, I mean, they're very strong, but how little strength they input to run such astounding scores, maybe we should be looking to women like those 2 and say, that's the model. That's what we should be trying to duplicate.
That's right. Plus, I think it's a good example with going 34 miles an hour as well.
Exactly.
Things are, as we all know, things are different between 34 and 36, and these women are killing it, and a lot of times beating a lot of these men. So these men can definitely pick up, and women can pick up a lot of great skiing characteristics that these women are doing very well to get them to where they are right now at the top of the women's rank.
Absolutely. All right, well, so enough about that lineup. Next on the water, we should have Karen Truelove and Gina Kruger. Gina Kruger is, again, we can't figure this out. Is she Canadian or is she Swiss? Or is she Swiss-Canadian?
Or is she German?
I thought, yes. Is she German? I heard Swiss yesterday.
So I first met Gina at the University World Championships and learned, kind of same thing. Where are you from? It's like, oh, well, Germany, Switzerland, Canada. But she was skiing for Germany.
She's skiing for, okay, and the webcast says Germany. I'm Gina, I'm sorry. But she's riding that HO V-Type. That's the 2015 HO, which I got to say is quite a nice ski. It's what I was riding this spring. And, of course, I know you, like everybody, like myself and probably Gina also, is waiting to get their hands on the 2016 HO, the V-Type R.
That's right. I actually, had my hands on the 2016 ski with the 66. I skied on it for a couple weeks. Skied on it at our national championships and had a good showing. But the ski just a little too small.
You're like 7 feet tall, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing on a 66?
I was just trying to make it work, and 67 wasn't ready, and there's some things I really liked about the ski, and unfortunately just a little too small, and it wasn't able to support me, and actually took some really bad crashes, and
which is awesome. See that you are. I mean, I don't know if you're the king of the tumble through the wakes, but you're on the podium. You're on my podium. And Tyler Yeager, I know you're not listening probably, but you're on my podium too. All right, so this should be Karen Truelove, spouse of a man that I would consider to be possibly the greatest jumper in the history of the sport, Mr. Freddie Kruger. Karen's riding a really classic ski, good Nano 1, what I consider it's in my all-time greatest ski list, short list. They're split their time between Orlando and one of the Carolinas. Help me.
North Carolina, I believe.
It's 50. You're taking a 50-50 shot. Could be north, could be south.
I'm about 95% sure it's north.
North. So Karen's kind of a lifetime skier. I remember her through juniors, like myself and many of us skiing since a very young age. Parents skied, got her going in the sport. Same as her husband, Freddie, coming from a ski family in Illinois. So lifetime skier. That looked like a pretty mundane opening pass.
Yeah, definitely good warm-up pass. And I know she got deep 38 both rounds yesterday, wasn't able to finish it. But I know at the Malibu Open, probably the best I've seen Karen look in the last couple years. So she's skiing really well this time of the year. We've got Gina coming back, 32 off.
Gina of Canadian-European descent.
And she's throwing the European that we were talking about earlier today, also in Orlando, Florida.
That's right. All right, so let's watch this replay carefully. Tell me what you see here, Brian, when we get to the replay.
So Gina's, does something that I think a little different than most skiers, and I think it's from her snow ski background. As you see, as she comes into the buoy, that she kind of unweights the ski, which you don't see a lot of people. You see the edge change and people seem balanced.
Is it an unweight or is it a pump?
It could be, described as both.
Okay.
She kind of, in a snow ski term, you would talk about unweighting the ski, and that's what it looks like to me. But definitely, it's a kind of a pump, but I think it's an unweight, basically the same thing.
Interesting. I saw that yesterday, and I got to say I was perplexed by it. So your explanation, as bad as it may be, is the best I've heard. All right, Karen Truelove, mother of two, spouse of the man who jumped 312, 313. How far was that?
312, Mr. 300.
312 feet. Amazing. She's really an outstanding slalom skier, Karen Truelove. What do you say about that? It was just that I call that flowy. Is that flowy to you?
Yeah, definitely. She's looking dialed right now.
It seems like she doesn't put in any effort that's unnecessary. She's not turning any harder than necessary, but she's making space and just flowing through the pass.
Yeah, that's right. She's just riding the ski, riding the line.
Just riding the ski. Is that all there's to it?
That's what all it looks like she's doing.
All right, so I asked Trent a question earlier, and he dodged it. So when you're in a tournament and or you're out skiing and things aren't clicking, do you have a happy place? Do you have, like, when you're not really sure what's going wrong, there's one thing you focus on to kind of recenter yourself on the ski, to get back in a pass or get back in a ride? Think about that while we watch Gina at 35 off. I want an answer. All right, nice one ball, a little tip rise. She's a little stressed, but I think she's all right. Running this 35 off should not be a huge effort for her. All right, round 5. Smooth out the gates. All right, Detrick, what is your happy place?
I'd probably say one thing, the biggest thing I focus on if I'm, kind of in a slump is balance and connectivity.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of that, it might be something at the finish of the turn, but it's really not what you're doing at the finish of the turn. It's what you're doing coming into the turn that's most of the time creating that issue. So I really, think with balance and connectivity, can fix, a lot of the issues.
Thank you for giving an answer that the folks at home are like, I don't know what he just said. I mean, they heard the word you said, but sorry.
Well, balance, just staying balanced over your ski, and then connectivity is, keeping the outbound direction and keeping the tension in the line as you come off the second wake.
See, because that's two things. Balance and connection is two things.
Yes.
So you got a dual happy place.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Karen Truelove coming in 35 off. riding that good Nano 1 behind that Nautique 200. You know, the look of calm, right? She's centered. You know, kind of, I know this is you tell me this is a crazy comparison. She's a short female Chris Parrish, right? She's still, she doesn't do anything extra. She doesn't go any harder than she has to. Is that a terrible comparison?
No, I mean, you're right. She's got a very still upper body. You know, you don't see her rotate in much, especially, you know, on her onside. She stays, you know, real level and just waits to accept the load before she gets on it.
She just flows. She makes it look like the boat's going slower.
I'd have to agree.
Finally.
What's that, the second time in a couple weeks I got to agree with you?
Anybody agreed with me. Oh, gosh. All right, so I got to say Gina's work's cut out for her. Coming back here at, I'm waiting for the graphic to tell me.
She said 38.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
She ran 6 no continuation and 4 yesterday. So
she's capable.
This is a very even matchup from the scores yesterday. Great looking 2-ball over to 3.
This is hers to lose.
Uh-oh, long to 5.
Hers
She's going
to
to need a big
lose.
turn.
Come on, she can run this. Oh, she's going to be stoked. All right, you know, relatively unknown skier putting pressure on the veteran.
That's right. Gina, you know, really stepped up the last couple years and have started to move up the ranks. I believe she's, you know, top 7, 8 right now.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
she's been having very consistent skiing. You know, she had an early outing at Malibu Open, and talking about laying on the line, I still told her this weekend that, you know, a lot of respect for what she did. She knew what she needed to get to make the cut, and just laid out for 4-ball 38 off, and unfortunately only got a quarter and needed a half. But, you know, like you're talking about, a lot of the, you know, myself laying the body on the line, anytime, you know, I see someone else do it, definitely
You don't lay your body on the line. You tumble across the line. And you know what I love about your tumbles? There's always really good spray as your body's going through the rooster
I
tail.
don't think it's a final. No, just another bracket. But
Glad I can entertain you, John.
Brian, that is what you're here for.
Unless this one crashes.
All right, 38 off, Karen Trulove. Little pressure for the veteran. I fully expect her to run this, though. Hope I didn't just jinx her like I tend to do. Again, go ahead, Brian.
She was a little slow out of 1, but managing the pass really nice. A little long to 5, just like Gina, but like you said, a veteran skier. She knew where she was in the course and just managed to do what she needed to do to get through it.
And that is experience. And, you know, if for the folks that watched the men yesterday and got to listen to Freddie Krueger announce, which was announced basically it was a lesson in announcing for me. I mean, it was just amazing to hear what Freddie had to say. But what you realize is how technical Freddie is, and all of that technical thought in slalom from Freddie is what coaches Karen. I mean, they're a team. Freddie helps Karen with her slalom, and vice versa with Freddie's jump.
That's
Did I
right.
say all that backwards?
No. That makes total sense. And, you know, everybody, you know, no one ever sees Freddie slalom. Everyone just sees him going over the ramp.
You know he runs 43, right?
Oh, yeah. But on a serious note, I believe he can get, you know, down the rope at 38.
39, I don't understand their.
But he definitely knows his slalom.
Oh, technically he's amazing. All right, Gina Krueger, 39 off. Oh, half at 39. So she's not going to be happy with that, but I think she should be proud of her weekend. I think it's pretty impressive.
Definitely. You know, just like Michaela, the strong showing in the finals. And, you know, this is the tough gate end. You know, all the skiers yesterday were talking about, we're not quite sure what it is, but there's something different from the starting dock end.
Think it's water depth?
A lot of it has to do with water depth. This lake is definitely, you know, shallow, and, you know, it might be 4 feet deep.
Right.
And so it definitely and it's the short end.
Right.
So the boat's trying to get the speed, and the wind's coming, so you're going to have a little cross tail that's pushing you a bit. So I think that's why everybody's having a little challenge from that end. And, could be we saw Regina, not get the best one, and she was taking 39, her and Whitney taking 39 from the opposite end yesterday.
Right.
So she going to play it safe, or
American?
we going to see her go for it?
No, I'm going to guess she's going to go around one and ski back to the wakes.
I would agree.
You know what that really is that's conservation of energy. She knows she's got to go up against probably going to end up going against Whitney and or Regina. So I think she wants to just rest. She's going to go back and probably drink some water, do a little debrief with Freddie. They'll do some trigonometry about the angle of her gate, and then get ready for her next matchup.
Yeah, definitely conserving energy, and then just being smart, not wanting to take a risk of, we saw Regina get, really deep, have a big tail slide there at one, and just not taking any chances, just securing that she gets the full one buoy and advances to the next round.
All right. So, again, the matchup that I'm going to watch most intently, because I just think I can relate to these women's slalom, and they're both personally so insanely nice, right? I mean, I always say the same thing about Brianne Dodd. You meet her on shore, and it's a big, bright smile, and there's a sparkle in her eye, and she's just the sweetest woman, and she gets on the water, and she gets about to the first wake, and she looks like she's going to tear the pylon out of the boat and kill the driver, right? I mean, she's just so determined when she gets out there, and she gets back to the dock, and it's back to ponytail and big smile and sparkly eyes.
That's right, Brianne, one of the nicest ladies we have on the tour. Always that smile, just heartwarming,
Yeah, lovely woman. And then kind of much less experienced skier, but really up and coming, someone I've been watching for a lot of years, is Manon Costard from France. I really keep waiting to see her break through into that top of the podium group. And she's been bubbling at that level with Brianne, probably below Karen and Whitney and Regina, but I think she has the potential to play with those girls at that top level.
She definitely does. Manon's been having some handful of deep scores into 39 this year, and she definitely proved that at the Masters. I mean, she tied for first with Regina and, ended up losing in the runoff, but, I mean, she was right there becoming a Masters champion.
And again, you meet her on shore, and she's a very pretty, young, soft-spoken French woman, very fit, but, just kind of looks like, the girl down the street that goes to the gym, and then she puts on a slalom ski, and she's just a beast. It should be noted that she spends a lot of time with the man that's either number 2 or number 3 in the world in men's slalom, Freddie Winter. They spend a lot of time together, if you know what I mean. They might be an item. I don't know if Manon's family knows, but you might catch them holding hands. Just saying.
Well, it looks like Manon is going to do the same thing as Regina. She usually starts at 32 off, so she's going to take that pass on that first pass and let Brianne come in at 28 off.
See, this is interesting. That Brianne has made the choice to stay with 28 off, and Manon has chosen that that's not part of her regime. And I really wonder about the logic. Like, for me, dropping 28, it was shocking for a while, and then I think it was better because I never had that pass where the geometry was so different from my harder pass.
Yeah, I think it just goes to rhythm. Brianne's comfortable starting at 28, and, that's what she feels most comfortable with. But what's interesting is I think this is the first time, at least the first time I've seen it, where the ladies are able to skip it.
Right.
Because usually it's the ladies have to agree, and if the minimum's 28, then both ladies have to go off at 28. So it's interesting that, the rules for this event are allowing them to skip that first pass.
Yeah, I agree. I've never noticed this before either. But so we've got Brienne Dodd is coming from the north end of the lake now behind the red Ski Nautique 200. And as I mentioned Nautique again, I would like the folks at home to notice that I don't think I've pulled any major sponsor faux pas yet today. Yesterday, the first hour or two, it was a little sketchy. Hope the folks at Nautique forgive me for any minor transgressions there. Brienne riding, I believe, an A3 out there, looking flowy, if I may say so.
Yeah, definitely. Nice warm-up pass, and, I think that's why Brand likes 28, as we see on the replay. Nice one-handed gait, real balanced over her ski.
Kind of intently watching this, looking for some comment to make, and she's just a beautiful skier. I mean, she's just so darn technical. It's funny. The matchup we should get really is Brienne and Karen, because you think about who are their husbands. State the obvious.
Ryan and Freddie, which we see them battle it out day in and day out in the jump event.
Number 1 and number 2 in men's jumps wives are two of the highest ranked women's slalom skiers in the world, which is it's kind of interesting. I think that the Kruger family has said it's a good thing that Freddie doesn't slalom or Karen doesn't jump because they'd strangle each other because they both have these strengths in these radically different events.
So we've got Manon Costard coming in.
That graphic's wrong.
32 off.
You think she's deceptively strong behind the boat?
Definitely. She's definitely up there on that list. We were talking with Whitney and Regina being, strong. I mean, really, all these women are. You see Brienne, she's the smallest one.
I don't mean gym strength strong. I mean, it doesn't really look like she's working that hard, but when you really look at her, she's stressing the boat at the center line.
Definitely. She gets into a strong pulling position and definitely has a lot of load behind the boat.
But late.
Yes.
If you disagree, it's all right. You can tell me I'm wrong. I mean, Trent did it all morning. Trent looks at me like, what are you talking about? All right. Canadian Orlandoite. Again, World Championships. They should just make all the Europeans and all the Canadians and all the South Americans ski in the Florida State titles. Think about how much money we could save not having World Championship tournaments.
We'd have them in Florida. No one would have to travel.
Exactly. It's interesting, Brian. She seems to put very little effort into her 246 or onside turn, yet really gets more than ample angle. You think that's just she kind of sets herself up to carve around, or?
Yeah, she definitely gets that early release, and if you see, she really brings that hip forward into the buoy.
Inside hip.
Inside.
So 246, she's bringing her right hip forward.
DJ's on camera now.
So she's letting the ski work for her. Is that what you're telling me?
That's right.
See, I've been announcing with Kruger, so I'm looking for that nitty-gritty detail. I mean, did you hear him yesterday? He's talking about somebody goes through the wakes, and Freddie's like, did you see their pinky toe twitch 2 degrees? That made him like at least a half an inch wider.
TJ's on camera now.
I'll work on it.
Really, for the folks at home, please, please, please stick around for the men's slalom. The heck with the skiing. You just got to hear Kruger announce. It's amazing. I mean, no offense to you, but he's in another league.
No, I've had the opportunity to announce with Freddie before, and it's definitely a privilege. Big one ball there for Manon here at 35 off.
You know what I like there? I was kind of watching her come in a 5-ball, and she had a ton of space, and she came through, and the ski kind of flowed out to her right, and she just kind of brought her center of mass kind of up and tall and forward, and it was just calm and you know my word. Say my word with me. Say it. Say it. Flowy. Flowy.
Well, it's funny you say that, because if I was going to point out one thing that I noticed there was, I was going to make a comment on how she moves up over the ski, into the buoy.
Right.
And that's what, I think is one characteristic that she does really well, and, something that's just coming natural now.
Yeah, for sure. So she's riding that MC ski, the Monte Carlo. I'm not really sure if they're branding it as MC or Monte Carlo, but whatever. It's Boris Laval's ski. Do you know? I think it's Monte Carlo.
Yep.
It's Monte Carlo.
Yeah, Monte Carlo, MC for short.
Short.
And, Boris from France, Manon from France.
And Freddie Winter from England. Are riding it. And seem to be having really good luck with that ski. It's one of those skis that's kind of breaking through that I can't get my hands on. Boris, next year I need to do a review on an MC. I'm dying to ride it. But first, here's Brienne Dodd at 35 off. Okay, not as flowy as Manon, but did you notice? Let's watch here on the replay. Do you notice there's there's a hip movement, kind of a shifting with Brienne, kind of 10 feet before the ball? Did you see that?
Yeah, that's what what I was talking about on the last pass is she really brings those hips forward and over her ski, where Manon kind of brings the whole body and hips and upper body together, where Brienne's more the hips, so the ski will go out in front of her a bit.
Interesting. Well, these are both. I mean, I can't. I haven't seen any fault in either of these young women skiing yet. I think they're both just outstanding. Like, the folks at home should be trying to figure out how to emulate this, and when they figure it out, they should tell me how they did it. Please, figure this out. Call me.
Yeah, both of them, look on top of their game, so it's going to be very interesting.
All right, so 38, it's challenging, but we expect them both to run this, right?
That's right. We saw Manon run it both rounds yesterday, and Brienne got deep.
Oh. I think it's hers to lose. I think she's in this. I no longer say the bad words. All right, she's got it. So you notice, the new phrase is it's hers to lose, because a couple weeks ago at that other tournament, that other brand of boat, which I won't say on this webcast, I said, hey, she's got it, and then everybody falls. So now it's, what happened at two ball there? Did you see that?
Yeah, she got a little bit on the front of the ski there at two, and with this lake being shallow, we saw a lot of guys blowing the tail there yesterday, and so, the ski just is naturally riding higher on the water with the lake being so shallow, and so we just saw a little tail slide there, and
it seemed like she kind of loaded the tip a lot. That MC, like some other skis in the industry right now, that they're moving towards a softer flex pattern, right? Like maybe a little stiffer in the tail and a little softer in the tip, a little bit flatter flex pattern. I know that HO's doing that, and I think Radar's going that way. It's kind of a new trend, and I wonder if a stiffer ski would have handled that better. And by the way, I'm a fan of the soft skis. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's, with the changing in all type of conditions, it's hard to have a ski that's perfect in all conditions.
Could not agree more. All right, Brienne Dodd coming back, 38 off. Wow, it was a big three ball. Oh, gosh. Now, I said these lays were evenly matched, but I'm going to call that an upset.
Yeah, with how well Manon's been skiing, I don't know if I'd say an upset. They were evenly matched, but, Brienne got in trouble there at two, got a little pulled out, and then, pulled out a bit out of three as well, and just couldn't get over to four.
I hold both these women in such high regard. I'm kind of sad to see either of them get knocked out.
Yeah, definitely. Like we talked about earlier, two great women, but that's the event where we've got to have one get knocked out and move on to the next round.
Absolutely. All right, so this is where we get to fly a little bit blind, because I think that the rules of this event are a little unconventional, and I'm not sure who goes through. Excuse me, I'm not sure. I know who goes through. I'm not sure what the next lineup is.
Well, we'll have the one matchup, so we're gonna have.
No, it's not this. It's not this. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is.
I believe we would have Whitney versus Manon.
That is conventional wisdom. I was told that is not the case today.
Okay.
Okay, so let me explain to the folks at home, because now I'm scribbling and talking and I can't even write in English. So traditionally, that first group, the winner of the first group would go against the winner of the last group. But to allow the skiers of the last group a little bit more time to catch their breath, they're reordering the way the next groupings happen. And of course, I don't have a printout, so I don't know how it goes. But I do see Rochelle Matley, who is the Nate Smith of Rules Committee. So let me go ask her and see if she'll explain it to me. You just keep talking.
Well, it looks like we've got Whitney in the water, so it looks like she's going to come in. We'll have to see who she's going to go up against.
Okay, so it is, in fact, Whitney and Karen. So, right, that makes sense. Okay, so they took the
That's
middle
right.
two and put them together. Okay, so Whitney and Karen. Karen's the underdog here. I'm gonna have to cheer for the underdog. As a new parent myself, I also have to cheer for Karen. She's a mother of two, and in an event like this, an athletic level like this, I think that's incredible that she still maintained her level. Now, of course, Whitney, world records, world titles. She's either number 1 or number 2 in the world, so Karen is clearly the underdog. But she doesn't have Freddy Krueger coaching her.
Definitely, and like I mentioned earlier, Karen's skiing really well right now, and she ran 3, maybe 4 at 39 a couple weeks ago at the last pro event, and so definitely.
You're
like
saying they're evenly matched.
No, I would
Nearly.
say I'm not counting Karen out. That's
No.
what I'm saying. Definitely Whitney. Like you said, 1 or 2 in the world right now, and looked really strong yesterday. She ran 39 both rounds, and so she's definitely got the upper hand right now. But you can never count out the veteran Karen.
No.
I don't see nobody with a cowboy hat.
So I mean, if Whitney runs 39,
I think too many cowboys.
I'm not sure Karen's done it in a tournament.
Right.
She's capable.
She's
Clearly.
capable, but
No water.
I don't think she's run it. There's only been 5, 6 women to ever run it.
I don't know.
And
I ski at 34, so I'm in a denial that these women ski that much better than me. I'm also in denial that I'm over 40. I'm in denial of a lot of things.
Well, and here we got the women starting 32 off this round, where it was 28 last round. So Karen's gonna be running a different direction than she had been yesterday. Where Whitney, this is the normal. We talk about the rhythm. She always starts at 32 off.
Man, Karen is so quiet there, right? I was kind of looking at her hips. You think it seems like she's got? I want to say that she's a little more closed. Do you think that she's pointing her pelvis in line with the tip of her ski and maybe increasing her outbound direction? You think that's something that you advocate, or is that something you're not so sure about?
Me personally, I feel that that's something that happens naturally based on how you came out of the finish of the previous buoy and have loaded into the wake. That edge change and hip movement is something I feel is a reciprocal of doing, having a good finish of the turn. So I don't think it's something to necessarily focus and think on. I think it's something that is a reaction of
Interesting.
what you've done before.
I bring it up. Last time I went and tried to play around at 36, that was the thing that I noticed was at 34, as a guy, I'm able to kind of really screw up my hip alignment and still get wide enough. When I go to 36, there was no way for me to make any space if I wasn't a little bit stronger in my core going through the center line.
So we've got Whitney coming through the course, 35 off. Little slack out of 5, but
She's Whitney. She's not scared.
no problem.
Was that 38?
Pretty sure she eats baby seals for breakfast. I mean, she's Canadian.
Had to be.
She's no meat though.
Oh, she's no meat.
Yeah. She's gone. I think vegan.
Vegan.
Yeah. I was
That was my- that was
talking
my-
with her. A
Maybe
little bit,
they're tofu baby seals.
possibly.
So I really wonder if I just made Matt Reaney spit coffee all over his laptop. I got text messages start coming in from the Canadian skiers anytime now, threatening my life. Just joking, people. Whitney is not eating tofu baby seals for breakfast that you know of. All right, what do we got, Brian? What is going on?
We've got Karen coming back in, 35 off. She was our number 5 seed coming in. You know, nice looking start there. Slow upper body movement like you've been talking about all morning long. They've got just a 3 to 5 mile an hour headwind there on that pass.
So Brian, I'm going to make a confession. So I feel like on this webcast that I'm under pressure to be more analytical, and I really, really focused on that pass of Karen's, and I was just amazingly impressed. I just think that was gorgeous. From the gate flow in, I mean, I'm sure there's a fault somewhere in this pass. It's not perfect, but she's just so still and so calm and so methodical. I think that's a pretty fantastic pass.
Yeah, definitely a great pass, and it doesn't matter what rope length you're at. It's very difficult to have a perfect pass where you cannot pick out anything. I mean, we're all humans. We've got 6 turns, plus a turn in for the gate. There's gonna be a little bobble here and there that's gonna happen.
I'm a huge believer. Like when I'm coaching, people talk about, 3 ball. What'd you think? It's like, one turn and a pass is like, it's nothing. It's inconsequential. It's not a pattern. All right, Whitney, 38 off. Little sticky there at 1. Not as flowy as Karen's pass, but the rope is 3 feet shorter. It is getting a little bit more tense out there.
Yeah, this is where you start seeing Whitney, really kind of attack and get a little stronger. And that loose line at 1, I still think it's just from that end. It's a little more difficult. So we see that, but this is the direction she ran 38 both times yesterday. So once she got into the farther into the course, she looked a lot more comfortable.
That we said this yesterday. The talent, the heritage, her dad, her aunt, her uncle both passed Canadian World Team members. Her uncle Joel, notorious cheater at Monopoly. He doesn't remember, but I do from when I was like 10 years old. I'm sure he's heard me comment on this over the years. He's thinking, what is Horton talking about? Joel, it was like 1975, and I was a little kid, and you stole my money in Monopoly. But Joel was also, I believe, world overall champion back at the time. So her family, her pedigree is huge in the sport of water skiing. Love you, Joel. All right, Karen, 38 off. She turned the heat up a little bit now. Oh, that's hugely disappointing. All right, that's not an upset, but it's unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. We always, we know she's very capable of running 38 and does a lot of the times. And, that end's just a little tricky. Like Whitney, she had a little loose line there at 1, and Whitney had a great 2, but Karen wasn't able to. As we watch the replay, we see just the little loose line there at 1, and just on the back of the ski, lost the line again at 2, and then she was in trouble. And, unfortunately, coming into that offside turn 4, wasn't able to, get the ski to stay down. Because I think if she would have got out of 3, she's coming into 4 on her onside. I think she still could have been able to scrap and finish the pass.
Well, yeah, and she's such a strong skier. Folks have been listening all weekend. I've talked about some skiers being fragile and some skiers being not. I don't think Karen's a fragile skier at all. I mean, for somebody, sometimes I see the really smooth skiers, and I think they tend to be fragile. They ski perfect, and then the tiny little ripple in the water, and they're a mess. Karen looks gorgeous, but can also really get tough and make it happen. So I'm sure that's disappointing, but they'll go home, and they've been doing this for decades. They'll go back at it and train, and the Freddie and Karen machine will keep rolling.
Yeah, she'll be back for the U.S. Open and World Championships, the last two events that we have this year, and definitely she'll be back and ready to compete in October. So next up, Regina and Manon. We got a rematch.
That's interesting.
Rematch of the Masters, and I believe from the pro event last week or
a couple weeks ago. Right.
We saw that matchup as well. So this matchup is starting to happen a little more often, and Regina's had the upper hand.
Well, I mean, Regina is the veteran. She's been through this for years. She's one of the best in the world. But I think people are looking at Manon these days and saying Regina's got to be on her game, right? If she relaxes a little bit, that sweet little French girl is going to come out and show her how it's done.
That's right. Manon's right on her heels. You know, she's consistently running mid to deep 39. So, you know, if Regina makes a mistake, you know, Manon's going to be right there to take her down.
And, you know, I like Regina quite a bit. I'm not have a personal relationship with either of these women very much, talk to them on occasion. But I'm sorry, I gotta cheer for Manon.
Well, I know a lot of people are like that. You know, Regina's been at the top. People like to see fresh people, new people come in, and you know, it'd be nice to, you know, get some change up. I know men, we've had a lot of change up from a lot of different people, but the women, you know, Whitney and Regina, we've seen that final time and time again.
Right. Well, I know that was just an opening pass, but that looked painfully easy. I mean, you know, she is pretty darn technical.
It was, and as you would say all morning,
say it.
It was flowy.
Flowy. That's my word, people. You need to ski more flowy. You know, I occasionally people ask me where I got the name for the website, Ball of Spray. And first of all, I had no idea the website was going to become like a successful business, but it was a joke about my own skiing. When somebody talented like Brian here or Regina out on the water goes down the lake, they make these nice, pretty walls of water. And you see me come down the lake, and you see this big ball of spray tumbling from ball to ball, right? So that's what Ball of Spray means. Probably not a very good name for a website, but it stuck, and here we are.
It's worked. I mean, how long's it been? It was 7, 8 years?
No, not quite. It really blew up about 4 years ago. It was simmering for a couple years before that. But hey, Manon Coustard coming back here at 32 off should not be challenging at all for her. A little bit of loose line there at 3. You see that?
Yeah, you know, Manon from time to time, from watching her the last couple years, you know, tends to lose the line a bit, but like you talked about, she's got such a strong body position through the wakes that, you know, she's able to manage that.
Do you think that was a little bit of like a nervous opening pass here? Like just a little bit, you know, unsettled maybe?
It could be. You know, it could be that little tailwind, you know.
Yeah.
I know it's 32 off, you know, that's what she opens at all the time.
So I remember the first time I saw her ski was, were you at the Soaked event in Orlando a number of years ago?
Yes.
And it was the
32 and 30 miles an hour
we
were going.
It was so rolly. The pro skiers that tried to use run passes the day before the event couldn't run a pass at 30.
Yeah, John Travers was the guinea pig. He was the first one out.
Oh,
talk about some entertainment, some tumbling.
So the conditions got better all weekend, and it's the first time I saw Manon ski, and from then on, I've been watching her. You know she's up and coming. You know there's some real talent. All right, 35 off for Gina Jaquez. This should be a master's course in slalom skiing, folks. Take a look.
You know, we see her coming to 3. We've been talking about handle controls. You know, Regina really stays on the handle and really lets it out slow, which is enables her to keep that nice, tight line.
You know, Brian, I think it's an esoteric concept that I only understood 5 or 6 years ago from an article written by Mr. Bruce Butterfield. Bruce, if you're out there, love you, man. Still depend on your article. Do you think you can explain to the folks at home what you mean by handle control?
So when you're coming off the wake, the tendency is, to give your arms back to the boat. So handle control is where you're able to keep that handle, keep the tension in the line, and keep, I like to say, everything going outbound towards shore, giving you the maximum outbound direction to get the most width at the buoy.
Right, because if you give that rope up, you're going to start slowing down faster and ski at the buoy.
Correct, because then you're giving everything back to the boat, and now the boat's pulling you down course, not allowing you to go outbound.
Correct. I mean, you tell me if it's correct. I'm not going to tell you if it's correct. I'm just a short guy with a computer. I don't know. Monaco Star at 35 off. Did you see that gate turn? It was beautiful. Did you notice that?
Yeah, definitely a good gate. Great start to this pass.
I don't completely understand that leg pump she has, but man, it seems to work well. The ski always seems to keep going. For some of us, when we make some bad mistakes and we really push on the tail of the ski, we kind of lose our speed, and her ski seems to keep moving at all times.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a forgiving ski. Maybe you're talking about going a little soft,
right?
So maybe a little softer, which is allowing it to still move through the turn, even though she puts a little more pressure on it.
Well, my understanding, and of course, ski designers speak to me carefully because I know that I talk to everybody in the industry, so nobody ever wants to give me secrets. But I think what's happening with that trend, and I think that trend is pretty popular right now, is they've softened the entire ski and maybe stiffened the tail a little bit. So it used to be that you'd push on a ski, just the tail would flex. And now when you push on a ski, the entire ski flexes. And so it doesn't, as a skier, it doesn't feel soft. Like it used to be, you'd get a ski with a soft tip, and it would feel like it's collapsing underneath you. This new generation of skis don't feel soft, but turn just astoundingly well. Wow, kind of a big one ball there. What are we at here, Brian? 39 off?
We got 38 off for
38.
Regina. Nice tight line out of 3. That 1-3, I mean, it's her offside, and she just keeps that nice tight line and gets a quick turn.
So let's watch this replay. I thought she was a little bit stressed at 1, and then by 4 ball, she looked like she was back to relaxing, thinking about tacos for lunch. Oh, maybe not. Okay, my mistake.
She was back a little bit, but, we, like Manon, we see Regina on the back of the ski from time to time, but she, manages really well. And like you said, by the time she was at 4, she had such a great 3 ball. She was just waiting for it.
So again, I talk about some skiers being fragile. That is maybe the least fragile skier in women's slalom. And of course, she'd be, Nate Smith would be the least fragile in the men's slalom. You would agree with that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean by fragile?
What do you mean by fragile?
Fragile is like some skiers are out there, and when everything's perfect, they'll throw down a ginormous, huge score. But if they have a bobble, they're not very good at flowing out of it and being scrappy.
Definitely, yes.
And
you do see it. And we see it with the best skiers in the world. And, I'm not going to name any, but there are definitely some people, if it's not going right, then they're done.
Right. All right.
Monona,
bad 2 ball. All right, we're getting a lesson in scrappy here. Come on, girl. Okay.
Wow.
So we were talking about fragile. She's not fragile.
I mean, that was incredible.
That was great because her 2 ball was junk.
The handle.
Okay, let's watch it again. Nice gate. What went wrong here?
Well, looked like a good one, but she comes into 2.
I don't see the. Maybe I missed it. I don't see the mistake yet, but it goes.
She just rocks back here.
I don't. No, something happened before that.
Well, I think she might have. Wow. We're talking about keeping the outbound direction. I think she might have given back to the boat a little bit.
Think she ran a line straight into 2?
So she had a little more speed than she needed. That's why she lost the line. She was ready to go. The ski was turned, but she didn't have the rope. Wow. So she had to go back. We saw that high handle, and that's usually,
if that was me,
trouble.
If that was me, the score would have been 1.5. 1.5. Gonna go back to shore, get some tacos and Coronas.
Then we just saw her, she stuck that 3 balls back in the pass.
All right, well, she's definitely showing her mettle here today. All right, Regina Jaquez 39 off.
Nice tight line at
Oh.
1. A little back at 2.
Nah,
with
she's
Regina
strong.
still in control.
Seems like she had to turn the heat up a little bit there going to 5, and then just crushed it.
Yeah, you know, you saw her pull a little long to 5, but she's so confident with taking a little more speed into that 135 side that experience as well. She just knows what she needs to do. If we see the replay, nice tight line at a 1, you know, over to 2. She was a little back, nice tight 3 again. Back a little bit at 4, and then we see her drop the shoulder a little bit, having a little extra speed to 5, but she knew where she was in the course. Just, you know,
Sacramento. Sorry.
So she knew where she was at 5, had a little extra speed, just be patient and get to 6.
All right, so Manon, she can run this. I'm guessing her heart is about to bust out of her chest, which, I mean, my heart goes out to her. I really want to see this young woman do well here. It'd be fantastic to see these two go at it at 41.
Yeah, she ran 4 yesterday. I know she's had a couple 5s earlier in the season, so definitely capable. We'll see what she can do. Nice
Lovely
gate.
gate. I don't know about that 2-ball. She's still, you know, she's still got to be happy with that. I'd love to have seen an upset. I mean, of course, I'm a Regina fan at the same time, but to see this young woman excel, that's fantastic. I'm excited for her. I'm sure she's going to be pleased.
Yeah, that's great skiing for Manon. Looked like she had a really good start as we see the replay. You know, a nice gate, a little bobble at 1, but really good. But just the ski, you know, that's where people were having some problems yesterday at that 2-ball. I think it may be a little more shallower.
I think maybe, you know what, and I don't know if we're going to get the replay again, but I think what we saw a lot yesterday was for some reason people are just carrying too much speed. Here we go. So let's see if she pulls a little bit long into 2 or carries a little bit too much speed into 2. So the 1 ball, it's a little aggressive. Does she just have too much speed in there?
Yeah, you know, she didn't come out of 1 probably exactly how she wanted, so I think she stayed on it just a tad long. Like you said, had a little extra speed. And, just couldn't get the hips back underneath her to really get a good release into 3 and was back on the ski and just lost her balance.
All right, we're gonna get our final here going in just a second. I don't know. We're not set up for doing interviews, are we, darn? I'd love to get her over here. All right, final matchup. Regina Jaquist. Is she coming?
So we saw Regina official 1 buoy, 41 off, advancing to the finals against Whitney. I know that's the direction if both ladies run 39 in the finals, that she'll have at 41. And I know I keep talking about it, but that's the end that everybody's struggling with. So that's why we saw her come back at 41. She wanted to get a look at that gate and try to see if she could figure it out. So another great day here at Belle Aqua Lake 1 in Sacramento, California. We've got our final matchup, Whitney McClintock and Regina Jaquist for our women's final. And after that, we'll have our men's final.
Brian, man, I love you, but you just got outclassed completely. All right, yeah. All right, so we've got the finals coming up, but in the meantime, we have one of the most decorated female skiers in the history of the sport. Can I say that? Is that okay?
Yes, that's a very nice thing to say.
I thought you looked so good out there today. How'd it feel?
Thanks, Sean. I actually felt really good. I guess you say the first round, I got a little more settled in than I was yesterday, and and kind of, Gina fell, and so I was like, well, I'm just going to kind of go for the win here and stood up round 1. But I felt really good, and then actually I felt even better the second round against Whitney. But my gait was good, and honestly, my back foot kind of adjusted on me on the way to 2, which rarely happens, and so I was trying to kind of kick it back in around 2 ball, and that's no good at 38 off. So
little bit of equipment failure.
Yeah, I got a little bit of work to do when I get home. So
well,
yeah,
you
but
know.
hey, it's just going to happen, and this was, I needed to do this. It's my own fault for not changing it, a few weeks ago. So
Well, I'm sorry you didn't do well. If you see the replay of this, you will hear that we were like slobberingly complimentary of your skiing while you're out there. I thought you looked so smooth. It's a pleasure announcing with your husband and hearing how technical he is. And I think now we see you skiing, and I was watching Extra Careful and thinking, you just look great.
Thanks. I've been working really hard, and I'm just trying to work on me. I mean, I've been skiing for a long time, and I have a lot of habits that, through the years, we've had a lot of technology changes with the, GPS control system and all that. And a few years back when I was kind of, grooming myself, it worked. And now some of the things I was doing 10 years ago, they don't work. And, and I've had 2 kids in the last 5 years and all that. So, I'm really proud of the way I'm skiing, and, wish I could have put more of a show on with Whitney. I mean, Whitney and Regina are skiing so strong. You got to bring it when you ski against those girls. So, but things happen, and I'm happy. It's just great to be here, and great event. And
well, it's fantastic. I can't put it back in context because it was live when we said it, but you were compared to Parrish out there briefly.
Wow.
So
do I really look that tall when I'm skiing?
You're not that tall, but you're that still.
Well, thanks.
Right? That's really what I notice is
cool.
Efficiency of movement and just kind of being efficient, doing just enough to maintain a really good line.
Yeah.
So can you stick around for 2 skiers?
Sure.
All right. See, and of course we're winging it here, but I believe we've got, looks like Whitney coming back at 32 off.
Okay. All right, so Whitney's going out first. I have to catch me up here with
right.
Whitney's going first. Right. Yeah, Whitney, she's just really looking as good as I've ever seen her look this weekend, which is actually, a great thing to say because all the skiers are talking about how, this water's different.
Right.
It's just a little, I guess like unsettled, a little unpredictable, and I will say with the head-to-head, it's a little movier than it was yesterday. So. It'll be interesting, but, she's so powerful. She's just powering right through, any of the rollers that you see.
Right. She's, I one of the things I've been, I don't know why I got on this trend this week, but I'm talking about some skiers being fragile and some skiers are not fragile. What I mean by fragile is some skiers, they can have a bobble and they just keep blowing through it. And I think the top women in this field are not fragile, right? And you're not fragile. Whitney is just a beast. I mistakenly joked that I think she probably eats tofu baby seals for breakfast. She's like an animal just going at it. Just happens to be vegan.
Yes. Whitney is very hungry, and she's mentally very strong. Always has been. And, she's very difficult to ski against, but in a way she's almost, like I said, that when you go and ski against her, there's a certain number of buoys that she's going to get done when she's out there. Right. So it makes your job mentally a little easier because you just have to give it all you got skiing against her. And the same thing with this girl.
So awesome. So watch Regina, and I'm going to figure out what else is going on.
Okay.
Okay, so right after this pass, we're going to throw to, there's an interview that somebody else is doing. So I have Karen, and somebody has been on elsewhere. So there's Regina's opening pass, and here's the interview, folks.
What I did this weekend, I ended up third. They're still competing for the second and first place.
Now, you were here last year, too. How does this compare with last year?
It's a lot better. Last year I did all right in the first few rounds, and then at the end, on the head-to-head, I fell really early. So I was a bit disappointed, but this year is a lot better.
Now, you're from France, but you're residing here in the United States.
Yes, I've been studying in Florida for a couple of years, and now in Louisiana.
So next year you're still going to be battling for first or second place, right?
Yeah, I'll try.
How's the water out there? Is it good?
It's really good. It's a bit chilly, so it's nice to get in and wakes you up and get you ready for your set.
Okay, but I don't.
All right, thanks, man. A good job this year, and we'll see you next year, too. Back to you guys.
Okay, well, it looks like we're back. We couldn't hear Minot, but I'm sure she said something lovely in her accented English. So this would be Whitney coming back at 35.
Yes.
So, Karen, tell us what you see.
What I've really noticed with Whitney is that she is so consistent on her gates. Actually, both these girls are, and I think that's what's making them so strong on the water. Just getting that really nice wide gate, which I think is essential, especially with being a left foot forward skier. And just a walk in the park, 35 off, not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
So, are you a lefty or a righty?
I'm a righty.
You're a righty. So, righty myself, I watch people left foot forward gate. I just close my eyes because it's just, it's crazy. It's baffling.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's a totally different gate. And even myself, if I'm talking to someone and they're left foot forward skier, I always preface, hey, I don't know what you're going to feel on your gate because I'm a righty, and it does. It's different. But, some of the technical things, are the same. So,
well, the path is maybe supposed to be the same, but it's crazy.
Yeah. I think what you're trying to accomplish is, similar, but yeah, I can't imagine, having to turn in the other way.
Right. Well, I even struggle coaching tricks for left foot forward skiers. Toe tricks I got, but wake tricks are like, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch in the mirror.
Yeah. And now Regina, her gates are just a thing of beauty. I love watching her gates. She's always the same.
Wow.
Very efficient.
That gate looks slow. It looks like she's not generating a lot of force, but clearly she's generating enough speed to get way out wide, kind of catch the boat. So it's just, like you said, it's efficient.
Yes. I mean, she does a tremendous job of, it's always the same. I think she has her points of when she pulls out and when she's, standing up going into her glide. I think she has more water speed than it actually looks like. She has more water speed. She looks like she's slow, but she's actually gaining up on the boat to a point of freedom, and then she can turn in and the boat's not pulling on her, and she can continue gaining direction and angle, and she's just behind the boat. There's just nobody better.
It sounds easy. I mean, I work on all those things. It's so darn hard.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When when it looks easy,
that's painful.
It's hard. It's Regina makes it look so easy, and you go out there and you try to replicate it and realize how hard it really is.
All right, so this is awesome. We have another interview, and I'm not sure who that is.
I think that would be Gina, probably.
Oh, hey. Okay, so we're gonna run through this pass, and then we're gonna jump to an interview here just a moment. So this is Whitney McClintock coming back 38 off. So this should be semi-mundane, but not boring.
No, 38's never a given. But again, just she's starts up course, and the thing is Whitney doesn't lose as she goes down the lake. She's continuing to hold her space within the course, and I think that's the goal. When you get to 6, you want to be earlier than you were at 2.
Absolutely. Hey, so we gotta jump to so Rick Stewart's gonna interview we think Gina Kruger. We'll find out in just a second. Or we surprised him. Rick Stewart, are you out there? There you are.
We're here with Gina Kruger. Gina, you made it into the finals today. How'd it go for you out there?
Not as well as I wanted it to, but I skied against Karen Trulove, who's had a ton of experience in this sport, and it was a great competition. We both ran our 38 offs, and I went for it at one ball and fell early, and she did. She went around 1 and made it further. So.
Okay, now, did you ski here last year, and how'd you do last year versus this year?
I did not ski here last year. I had an injury, so I'm happy to be back and to be skiing here, and love skiing here, so yeah.
How are the conditions out there for you?
Conditions are perfect every time we come here. The lake ski's awesome. It's beautiful temperature. I like the colder water, and I look forward to coming back here next year already.
Coming back, where are you from?
That's a complicated question, but I ski for Germany, and I live in Switzerland, but temporarily I'm living in Florida right now. So
all right, Regina coming back 38.
Good job today, Gina. All right, well, back to you.
Regina, of course, is a Team Good skier. Good is a sponsor of this event this weekend.
Oh, and she's just, like I said, she's just earlier at the end of the course than she is in the beginning. It's
You know, that's actually
great.
it's interesting you say that. A couple years ago, I was had the pleasure to spend some time skiing with Maple and listening to him coach Parrish at the time, and he was really hammering on Parrish. I think he almost said, like, go ahead and bobble 2-ball, but I want you to be insanely early at 6, right? Just
Right.
make up ground constantly.
Right. Well, honestly, I'm sure that's where I know he used to get on me about it all the time. He was always very much, you run your first passes as hard, try to be as up course on the first passes that you run as you are in your later passes, because it teaches you to just get in the habit of doing that. And the more space and direction you can create in your 32 and 35, just makes the later passes feel earlier. You don't expend as much energy. And he was very big on that, and he'd drive me crazy with it, but he was right.
Yeah, I think everybody's got a heavy heart. Every time there's a conversation, it's always about Maple. I think everybody has such fond memories, and it's kind of hard to know if you bring him up or not. But he's sorely missed.
Yes, he is. But the great thing is every time I think about it, I smile, and that says a lot about his legacy.
Absolutely. All right, 39 off.
Big 1-ball.
Really big 1-ball, deep. She is so tough. My gosh. Holy moly. Ladies and gentlemen, Whitney McClintock.
Wow. That was not the start that she was looking for. But
No, but again, the definition of a scrappy skier, that's not a negative thing. She's so talented and so strong.
That's just another great skill set. I mean, hey, smooth only takes you so far, but I think she knows where she needs to be to run this pass, and even though she didn't get the start she wanted, she found it, and then again just didn't lose as she went down the lake. At least not much. I mean, at 39, you're gonna lose a little ground, but
That's just amazing.
She's skiing amazing.
So this matchup is getting interesting, right? I mean, you know,
Yes.
we know what Regina's about. We know what we expect to see next.
Yes.
We expect to see a mirror image, just slightly different technique.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing is that they do, Regina's a righty, Whitney's a lefty. It's great. Hey, as you're a 34-mile-an-hour skier, you've got two great examples of how to get the job done.
Right.
We don't always have that. And I mean,
And really, I mean, pretty distinctive styles, right? I think Regina, from in my mind, has evolved more in the last few years to be more conventional. Oh, it's a better start.
Losing a little ground there, but handling it as expected very well.
That 4-ball was a little dodgy. So did you think she was in trouble out of 4? Do you think she was done?
I mean, I could see she was a little, losing a little ground there, but Regina, I think earlier this year I heard Freddie Winter put it as good as you can. Regina's offside is so good that it's better than most people's onside.
Right, for sure.
She's always had a really strong offside. But
So you watched right there. Oh, I thought maybe not. Wasn't that bad? Okay.
Well, she was had to wait a little bit on the line, but again, so much experience at 39. She knows exactly where she needs to be at 5 to make that turn. And this is, these two girls, I mean, they have been skiing. It's been, the last 3-4 years.
At least.
It's just a great rivalry between the two of them.
And it's great. I to say nothing negative of Nate Smith, but I wish we had more of this head-to-head in the men that was closer.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. As as much as you like to, hey, everyone wants to dominate their sport, but it is better for the sport. It makes it more interesting for the spectator to have some good competition. And here we go. This should be interesting. I would assume that Whitney, being the lefty, should be able to get a piece of that 2-ball.
It is a lovely gate. Oh. Is that 0 or 1?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I didn't have a great view of it, but it looked like it was questionable whether or not she got around that. I agree.
Okay, I thankfully I'm not a judge. I'm going to say she got it.
Yeah, let's see here. Can you see? Oh, the good there.
The Webcast TV guys heard us talking about it. Hopefully, I assume that's why they're giving us this little extra.
Yeah.
And I don't
Ooh,
know. I
I'm
can't
not calling
tell.
it.
I don't
Oh,
know.
boy.
She might have got 0.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, but it's
You know, there's
40. It's 41 off. So Regina still, she can't like safety this gate. She can't just slide through.
No, but Regina can do this. She's going to do
Oh,
this.
she is
There's
an
no
animal.
question.
Yeah,
She's
okay.
got this. She's got this. That's, I know that's disappointing for Whitney, and
Yeah, but she's still skiing at the absolute peak of the sport. I mean, that's not. She hates losing. I'm sure she's gonna pound her fist, but nobody's looking. That's still amazing.
yeah. And if I remember correctly, last year, I think Whitney went first and she fell. They both ran 39. I think she fell at around one ball. So kind of a similar situation here, but of course, it'd be interesting if Whitney could have gotten one. The two. Kind
Much
of put
more
a little
interesting.
pressure on Regina, but yeah, I don't think this is gonna be an issue for Regina. She's got, again, the more 41 experience than anyone.
Right. But she's world record holder.
Oh, good for her.
That's all it takes. All right. Regina Jaquist, our 2015 California Pro-Am champion.
Yeah, how many is that?
I don't
quite
know.
A bit.
A bunch.
Quite a few for her.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you sit with us, and I'm going to say it
Thank
again.
you.
So impressed with your skiing today. I think you look lovely.
Thank you. Lovely. That's good. Yep, more work to do. These ladies are, got to go home and work harder.
Right, absolutely.
But I appreciate, thanks for the compliments. And now we got the men coming up.
Now we got the men. Now it gets ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. This should be good, too. I think we're going to have some good skiing. It seems to be skiing a little better today, so the men's
I hope so.
It's going to be fun.
I hope we're going to see a lot of deep 41 this afternoon.
Yeah, maybe we'll see Nate get a little challenge there. So
I hope so. I hope so. At least they shouldn't make it easy on him. Thank you.
Thank you, my part, for doing a good job for the women and all this weekend. I'm very much appreciate your help. Great to have you out here. We're going to be back here for over a minute. We're going to have a short 15-minute break. We're going to have some interviews.
You going to commercial for what are we doing?
For the live webcast. So in the meantime, go ahead and make sure you get your lunch. We've got Dogtown lunch truck over there and the Mix Taqueria. I just had a quesadilla. They're very good. I had a burger the other day from Dogtown. Go check them out. Get yourself filled up before opening long finals.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, that way they can be skiing this fall and Sunday. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Bay's Boat Care, Good, HO, D3, Bay Area Water Ski Club, Delta Grinding, State Farm, Ski Paradise Acapulco, Dutch Bros, Fidel Construction, Access Sacramento, and our sponsors are if they're going to do an interview right now. Thank you all for coming out and sponsoring this event. Had a great couple of days here. Awesome stores.
So there are two skiers standing right here. Do they want to have them interviewed?
No, I offer. Camera. Well, let's just come right here. No, I'll just get out of the way.
Earlier this morning, if you weren't here, we had Matt Brown winning the Masters men head-to-head.
Yeah, Matt was telling me a story. He actually got diagnosed with cancer last year. He had a little tongue cancer, and obviously he was quite concerned about that. But they got it early, hit it hard, and eradicated it. And he looked great after it. So a big shout out to Matt for coming back from a tough deal and making it down out on the water.
For our open man head-to-head, we are going to have Nate Smith versus Chris Parrish, Freddie Winner versus Daniel Barco, Thomas DeGasperi and Joel Howley, Will Asher and Corey Vaughn.
Wow, I mean that's obviously a fantastic event. All these skiers capable of deep 41 off or even into 43. as evidenced by Nate's run yesterday. I didn't see it, but I heard him stuff out there. That's amazing. I'll tell you, first cruise there.
Let me know when I'm live. It's up to them with the lighting. Whitney? Regina.
Was tied with 2 at 41. And that was 20 years ago. And they had like either a double or a triple round. Until they got dark and they couldn't each other.
Okay, we're here with Whitney and Regina. This was a rematch of last year. Is that correct?
Yeah, for several years now.
All right. Well, fantastic. So tell us how it went. So Whitney, you took second, but you had a pretty good ride. How did it go out there?
Yeah, it feels amazing out there. Always coming out to California skiing on Belacqua Lakes is pretty amazing. So I had a really good weekend. I had a 2 at 41 yesterday, so I'm really happy with that score for the year. And ran 39 3 times, so I'm pretty pumped about that too.
That's super impressive, and that 2 at 41 is big. That helps your world standings, of course, keeps them cemented where they are.
Yeah, I just need to get a little past 2 ball to get in first ahead of Regina.
All right, well, Regina, again, this is a back and forth between you two ladies, and it's a pleasure. We were actually discussing while you guys were skiing that we wish the men's event was this close and there was this much of a battle. But tell us about your day.
It went really good. It's always, like Whitney said, it's so great to come out here. Diablo Shore's the California ProAm that they've done for so many years now. Every time we come out here, it's just world record status, and you can just see that the competition's just getting better and better. And our top 8, I don't think, but maybe 1 missed 38 off. And so for the women's event, we're all getting better, and everybody's getting to the top level. So the competition's getting tough, and it's really great to see for our sport.
Well, it was an amazing event to watch. I think it's probably the funnest hour or so of the tournament this weekend. I want to thank you both. You want to say any last words?
No, just thanks to all the sponsors. It's always awesome that people can come together and put on events like this for us. So, and thanks to Greg and Debbie for doing such an awesome job every year at putting this thing on.
Last word for the folks?
Same as Whitney. Thanks to all the sponsors and Greg and Debbie and the folks here that put on this tournament. I know it's really hard to put on a tournament, to have great spectators. The crowd's always good out here, too. They're always cheering. You can hear them out there. And, every time we ran 38, they were cheering. So it's huge support for us, too. And, thanks to Dave Good for the Nano 1 Flex Tail, just get me through another win.
All right. And
drivers, too.
All right. And to commercial.
Standing as the absolute and undisputed ruler, the Ski Nautique 200 closed bow upholds a reputation built by the rich history of ski nautique boats that have come before it. A hardcore 3-event purist, the 200 has clearly proven that it is the flagship boat of the entire water ski industry. It's more than just the sum of its parts. Groundbreaking hull design, cutting-edge gel lines, blink and hydrogate technologies, and world record-setting personality. This boat tells the story of our heritage. The 200 is the perfect blend of a rich and decorated history of all things nautique. Put yourself behind the Ski Nautique 200 closed bow and you'll just get it. This is a dedicated 3-event boat that excites all hardcore tournament water skiers around the globe. The wakes are the softest and the flattest. The pole has unrivaled reliability. Personal bests are shattered every day. An unprecedented 17 world records have been set. Decades of research and experience have been poured into this hull, so that the split second you need this boat to be at its absolute best, it will be better than that. The performance of this boat was designed with a purpose, to stand apart and to put you on the top of the podium. From this boat forward, there is no going back. From our exclusive optimal surface control hull to our patented Hydrogate with Sport Shift to the integrated link system, Nautique can be sure that every skier that takes to the water behind the closed bow will enjoy the ride of their life. And with over 15 hull colors to choose from, personalizing the look of your boat is as certain as the custom ride behind it. The Ski Nautique 200 closed bow is exclusivity in its most inclusive form. In the years past, the words spacious and storage couldn't coexist with the words closed bow. However, the Ski Nautique 200 has changed that. With the sleek, roomy storage compartments and the Tournament Love Seat extension, there is plenty of room for your gear and your crew. Our exclusive stitching, comfortable upholstery, and stunning primary seating color options add to the enjoyment of your time spent inside the boat. The Ski Nautique 200 closed bow, perfection delivered. The Ski Nautique 200 Open Bow is the only boat in the industry that gratifies both the renowned world record holder and the weekend water ski enthusiast on the lake with a group of friends. Identical in weight and weight to our closed bow, this hull performs all 3 events world record flawlessly. If your ride takes place inside the boat, there's an amazing feeling of endless space. The Ski Nautique 200 Open Bow has a place for everything and puts everything in the right place. So whether your ride consists of a sweet 38 off pass or a view of all the action, it will just take one ride to fall in love. The Ski Nautique 200 Open Bow is exceptional in every form. This is the only open bow on the market that can claim an unprecedented 17 world records, and the exceptional doesn't end with the hull. The driver's helm is designed with one purpose: to stand apart. And the tracking and steering are unmatched, creating endless performance opportunities for the skier behind you. There is only one word to describe the performance of the Ski Nautique 200 Open Bow: perfected.
I'll be off.
The hull and exterior of the Ski Nautique 200 Open Bow doesn't just exhilarate, it dominates. Nautique has spent decades fine-tuning the hull for world record performances while simultaneously creating looks that are inspiring. With a single glance, you'll know whether our more classic or progressive gel line is the right look for you. And you may customize your boat with our extensive list of eye-catching colors, including 4 new bold options for 2015. The Ski Nautique 200 Open Bow is bliss built to order. At Nautique, we pay more attention to the details. Our streamlined storage is sleek yet abundant. The upholstery is exquisite, sporty, and perfect down to the last detail while offering maximum levels of comfort. The high-quality, high-tech materials are not only the longest lasting, but our seams harmonize with the interior design. When you know your strengths, it is easy to acquire new ones. The Ski Nautique 200 Open Bow. It only takes one ride to fall in love.
Welcome to the 2015 California Water Ski Pro-Am Championship. Got that a little backwards. I'm here with Josh Bedell. Josh, you've been doing this for a long time. It's in the family.
Yeah, I've been in the water skiing community since I was about the age of 10. our family's big advocates in trying to promote the sport and get more publicity behind it to help grow the sport and bring it back to its former glory days.
Now, is it working? I mean, are there more people here? I was here last year. It looks like there's more people.
Oh, we've actually grown the sport exponentially, at least in a public standpoint. We've gotten a lot more people out here on the shorelines, bigger, better title sponsors, bringing more people in and seeing how, all these professional athletes really get to interact with one another. But it's a really cool dynamic getting all the amateurs to be able to compete with the pros as well on their own level, and they all get to have fun and intermingle while they're on the docks and here on the shorelines. It's a great atmosphere.
How much pressure is it working for your dad, who's one of the really high-ranking people?
It's a little difficult sometimes. He's a little demanding, but you know what? He just wants to make it the best tournament he can for the public and himself, as well as all the other athletes that came here from all over the world to compete.
Did I hear you right? He got a little hurt and not competing?
Yeah, he did get hurt. He was not able to compete in the head-to-head this morning. The Masters men's division was first thing this morning, and he did hurt his ankle and was unable to compete in that. But he's hoping to get back in a couple of weeks and be starting to compete again in some of the other big tournaments this year.
All right, Josh, thanks for being with us today, and continue good luck on the tournament and keep it on going.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back after this. I'm here with Shannon Reese of Junior Development. First and foremost, what is junior development, and how does it impact what we're seeing out there on the water?
The junior development, we put on clinics at the local lakes, and we bring in professional skiers who coach our juniors and help develop them into being better skiers, slalom, trick, and jump.
How big of an organization is junior development as far as the national level?
It's pretty big. We have quite a few competitors that come from California and our region that qualify and compete at a national level.
All right, thanks, Shannon. Enjoy the water skiing out there today.
Thank you.
All right, we'll send it back to you. All right, I'm here with Steve, and you're basically here with the Cub Scout group. Do I understand that right?
That's right. We're here just trying to sell some popcorn and raise some funds for the Cub Scouts and help those guys out.
Now, do you have Cub Scouts that are competing in junior development and things like that?
We do. My son right here is a competitive water skier, and he's also in the Cub Scouts. So Greg and Debbie let us set up this booth and sell some popcorn to raise some funds.
What's your name?
Wade.
Wade, how'd you do this year? Are you skiing?
Yeah,
Are you going to be up here with the Masters here pretty soon?
I hope so.
There you go. There's confidence. Steve, thanks for being with us today. All right. Best of luck. We'll be right back.